I didn't realize the platform was empty until the echo of my own footsteps started sounding wrong. Too loud, too exposed. The last train had already gone. The fluorescent lights hummed like they were tired of staying awake. I was checking my phone, no signal underground, when I felt it. That instinctive tightening in my chest that comes before something irreversible. 3 men stepped out from behind the concrete pillars. They didn't rush me. That was the first thing that told me I wasn't getting out of this by running. One of them smiled, slow and practiced, like he was used to people begging before he ever had to ask. "You walked past the docks on 9th, he said calmly. "You heard names you weren't supposed to remember." I shook my head. My mouth opened, but nothing convincing came out. Another one reached into his jacket and didn't pull the gun all the way out, just enough for me to see the grip. Casual, intimate, like he was showing me something personal. "This won't hurt if you cooperate," he said, and then added, almost kindly, "but it will end." The injustice of it slammed into me harder than the fear. I hadn't done anything. I wasn't part of anything. I was just a civilian who worked late and walked the wrong way home. And somehow, that was enough to earn a death sentence. The gun pressed into my ribs. Not hard, just enough. My phone hit the ground when they slapped it out of my hand. It shattered. The sound echoed down the tunnel, loud and final. I started to cry, not loud, not dramatic. The kind of quiet crying you do when your body understands something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. And then, engines, black SUVs rolled into the platform like they owned it. Doors opened in perfect synchronization. Boots hit concrete. The men around me stiffened. A woman stepped out of the lead vehicle. She didn't hurry. She didn't look at me. Her attention stayed fixed on the men who had decided, apparently, to execute someone on territory that wasn't theirs. "Which one of you authorized this?" she asked. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. One of the men stammered. Another tried to explain. None of it mattered. She lifted her hand slightly. That was all it took. The rival gang members were dragged away screaming, begging, promising information that suddenly didn't matter anymore. Only then did she turn her gaze on me, cold, assessing, uninterested. "You," she said, like I was an object left behind. "You don't matter." The words hit harder than the gun had. She continued, eyes flicking briefly back to where the men had been. "The insult does." And just like that, she walked away. I didn't thank her. I didn't move. Hands grabbed my arms moments later, not rough, but firm, efficient. Someone said, "The Dawn wants her relocated." That was the first time I learned her title. They took me to a place with no windows. Not a dungeon, not a cell. Something worse, clean, quiet, controlled. The door locked behind me with a sound that made my stomach drop. I sat on the bed and stared at my hands, still shaking. My entire body hurt from holding itself together too tightly. I hadn't been saved. I'd been claimed by circumstance. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't behave normally in that room. When the door finally opened, she stepped inside alone. Up close, Seraphine Cade was even more unsettling. Impeccably dressed. No wasted movement. The kind of woman whose stillness carried more authority than most people's anger. She didn't sit. You recognized them, she said. It wasn't a question. I saw faces, I admitted. I didn't know who they were, I swear. I know, she replied calmly. That's why you're dangerous. I flinched. She studied my reaction with interest that felt clinical, not kind. You're under my protection, she continued. That doesn't mean safety. It means control. I swallowed. For how long? Her lips curved slightly. Not a smile. For as long as you're useful or vulnerable. And just like that, she left. Protection arrived in the form of guards, restricted movement, and silence. My phone was replaced with one that couldn't dial out. My name disappeared from public records overnight. When the rival gang leaked my identity anyway, the threats poured in faster than I could process them. Seraphine didn't comfort me. She dismantled their revenue streams instead. Warehouses burned, accounts froze, men vanished. Each escalation happened quietly, efficiently, without spectacle. And every time, her focus returned to me, not with affection, with possession. She watched how I slept, how I ate, how my voice changed when I was scared. When I finally snapped and accused her of enjoying this, she didn't deny it. You disrupted my order, she said calmly. That interests me. The first time she touched me, it was to steady my hands when they wouldn't stop shaking. No permission, no apology, just control. The rival gang escalated. They didn't try to kill me again. They tried to destroy me instead. False evidence, public accusations, my reputation shredded in a single night. I sobbed on the floor of the penthouse while Seraphine watched from the doorway. When I asked her why she let it happen, she answered without hesitation, so I could end them cleanly. That was when I understood. I wasn't the cost. I was the excuse. I tried to run. Freedom felt more dangerous than staying, but at least it would be mine. I made it 2 blocks. Seraphine retrieved me herself. She didn't raise her voice, didn't threaten me. She just said, "The world wants you erased. I want you intact." The rival gang offered a trade. Me for peace. Seraphine pretended to consider it. Then she destroyed them all in one public, bloodless move that left no room for retaliation. Afterward, she stood beside me in the quiet aftermath and said, "You were never negotiable." When it was over, I expected release. Instead, she offered permanence. Not love, not equality. Shelter. I realized then that I would never stand beside her. I would always stand beneath her shadow. But beneath her shadow, nothing could touch me. And that was the most dangerous safety of all. because she didn't save me, because she loved me. She loved me because she saved me. And once something belonged to Seraphine Cade, she never let it go.